Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all healthy and safe at home. Let us continue with our module 3. But as I stated earlier, module 3 comprises of two chapters, chapter 3 and chapter 4. So chapter 3 we dealt with the concept of corollaries of Hann-Banach theorem, and there were a few examples which I have left as a seminar for you guys. Now we will move on to chapter 4 of module 3, bounded linear operators. So by the name itself it's clear that we are going to discuss about linear operators which will be bounded. So we know by bounded means we can find some real number for which the operator will be bounded. Okay, so let's see the definition. Now let x and y be Banach spaces and let T be a operator from x to y. Okay, it is a linear map. Then T is said to be bounded if there exists capital C, a number C, such that no y t of x is less than equal to C into norm x of small x. Why? This is, I think it's clear because x and y are two Banach spaces, so there will be different norms. The norms can be same or they can be different. So we are denoting the norm which is defined on x to be norm of x, and norm defined on y is norm y. So clearly t of x means t acting on x will be an element in y. So there we'll have to consider the norm which is defined in the Banach space y, right? I hope the concept is clear. So we say that a linear operator is bounded if we can find a real number, any number C, such that norm y t of x is less than equal to C into norm x of x. Okay, this is just for clarity. Once you understand the concept, again I'm just repeating, x and y are two norm spaces, so corresponding to x and corresponding to y there will be norm defined on it. So when x is an element of x, we will be dealing with the norm of capital of this Banach space x, and when we are considering an element in y, we will be considering the norm which is defined in the Banach space y. So that's how we define a linear map to be bounded. Now next point is a definition as such. We are defining here, it is not t of x. Okay, just note that it is norm of t. Okay, norm t is nothing but supremum x not equal to 0, norm of t of x by norm x. This has some similarity with the linear functional norm. Okay, I think it's some similarity. No, it's kind of same only, except that we have t instead of f. Instead of linear functional, we are dealing with a linear map, linear operator. So norm t is equal to supremum of norm tx by norm x. Okay, now there are few notes related to this. We can see that if for every x element of x such that norm of x is 1, then we can obtain that norm of tx is less than equal to C, right? How can we do that? It is simple, direct from the definition itself. It is very clear. We have seen that if the linear operator is bounded, we can see that if it is bounded, norm of t of x will be less than or equal to, I am omitting the x and y concept here, is less than or equal to norm into x. Now if norm x is equal to 1, then clearly what will happen? Norm tx will be less than or equal to C, right? And what was norm t? How did we define norm t? Norm t was nothing but supremum for x not equal to 0, norm tx by norm x. So again here, if norm x is 1, this is nothing but supremum x not equal to 0, norm tx, right? And this norm tx is less than equal to C, so this will be less than equal to supremum x not equal to 0 into C. Now x is not here, so this is actually nothing but C itself. So we get norm of t is less than or equal to C. So from this we obtain norm T is less than or equal to C. So this is a case when we are considering the element to be such that its norm is 1, right? So for all elements with norm 1, you can easily state this property. Now the next one is that the function which we have defined right now, that is norm T is equal to supremum x not equal to 0 norm Tx by norm x. It is actually a norm. We have it satisfies all the properties of the norm. We have done the same proof in the case of linear functionals, so you can just verify it by yourself whether the function that we have defined satisfies the properties of a norm. Now next is a notation, that is if we are having any two normed spaces and we are considering all the set of linear operators from x to y, then this collection of linear operators along with the norm that we have defined will form another space. Okay, that will be another space, that is we will study about the properties of that space later in this chapter. So, and we denote it by L of x comma y or L x mapping to y. Okay, anything, both are the notations which are given in the textbook. So L of x comma y will denote the space of all bounded linear operators along with the norm which we have defined before. So another note is that for any x we can easily state that norm Tx is always less than or equal to norm T into norm x. That is clear by the definition we have given before, because norm T is nothing but the supremum of norm Tx by norm x. So from that we can easily obtain that norm Tx is less than or equal to norm T into norm x. So just try it out. If you are not able to do it, we can discuss it. So with this we shall wind up today's session. Thank you. Stay home and stay safe.